So the Bombproof Horse that we all want. We all want to have one around. I was trotting home from work the other day, and I got to thinking about this. So I've got my paint horse. I think, if you've watched enough of these videos, everybody's seen the paint horse at some point or another. And the paint horse was nearly completely ruined when I got him, and he's gotten to where now he's a really good tool to use on the ranch. He's a good horse. There's a lot about him that's real unrefined, but he's a really good horse. And bomb-proof, I wouldn't call him bomb-proof yet, but it's not going to be long before he's the kind of horse that's going to be the bomb-proof type of horse that everybody wants. And so how do we get to that? And with him, like I said, he was spoiled. There was a bunch of terrible stuff, but it doesn't even have to be reformation as it was in his case. It can be from the beginning to this finished bomb-proof horse that we let the kids ride and everything like that. So how do we get to that point? Well, the majority of the horse world says exposure, 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 exposure. And there's nothing wrong with exposure. And I think exposure is great. And I think it helps to mature your horse. I think way more so than making them bomb-proof. I think exposure helps to mature them. But I really don't think that's how you get that horse that just nothing really bothers them. Nothing flusters them to where you can ride them on that windy day with stuff, people running around, a skinny kid with a flag on a stick and plastic bags and there's a pig loose. This is a literal translation of what happened yesterday. There was a train, there was a pig, there was lots of goats and sheep, there was cattle, there was a skinny kid with a stick, the wind was blowing 700 miles an hour, there was trash, there was all kinds of stuff going on, and Paint was like, whatever, I'm good with it. He didn't really like the train, but he didn't freak out. He stayed at work. He kept working. He just noticed that there was a train, and they were, I believe the word is shunting. They were shunting their cars, which is when they changed their cars around. And I learned that from watching Thomas the Train with a 3-year-old. And one, it's fun to hang out with a 3-year-old. And two, George Carlin is the voice of the narrator on Thomas the Train part of the time, and that's hilarious. But anyway, geez, Brett, you got in a rabbit hole with that one. The way a horse like Paint gets to where all that going on and nothing bothers him wasn't from exposure, because the last year and a half or 2 years, I was on the ranch in Arizona, 30 miles on a dirt road from town. Paint never went anywhere. He was just on the ranch. He didn't go to town. I didn't trailer him anywhere. I didn't do anything. I just took him to work and went to work. Since we've come to Nevada, he's in his stall at the place, or the one day a week I go and day work on him. Still not a heck of a lot of exposure. And he just takes it all in stride. So why is that? It's because he's broke. It's because he is confident in the maneuvers that he can do. He's confident in the equipment that is used on him and how it works. He's happy with that. And he's confident in me, how I operate, how I do things. That's broke. That is a horse that understands his world and how he fits in it. He understands that I'm in charge. I take care of the sticky stuff. He just needs to do what he's told, and everything's going to turn out for him. That's a broke horse. He understands that that there's long days of hard work, and you may as well save yourself, because Brett's not going to get me in a wreck. That's broke. Those are the things that make the bomb-proof horse. Exposure helps, for sure. Exposure helps. Like I say, I think it really helps to mature a horse, especially if you don't have the days we had in Arizona where we're 35, 40 miles at a trot. If you don't have those, that exposure darn sure helps. But I don't want people thinking that all I have to do is get a leaf blower and blow it in his face and get a marching band and hire a marching band to march around him and all of this stuff. And that's what's going to get him broke. That's not what's going to get him broke. You can't, one, you can't afford, two, you don't have time, and three, your imagination isn't good enough to think of all the things that could possibly happen on any given day and pre-expose that horse to it. Second of all, we talked about fragmented thinking in one of these videos a while back. That's not how their brain works. They don't necessarily remember, oh yeah, marching bands and clowns doing backflips. I remember that from 4 years ago when the boss hired a marching band and a bunch of clowns to come out and let me see it. That's okay. That's just not how their brains work. But I roped a pig on Paint yesterday. Paint's never even seen a pig. But he knows the maneuver. There's something running. Brett's got his rope down. We're going to catch it. And that's what makes a horse broke. Exposure's great, but you can't count on exposure for everything because you can't do enough of it, and their brains don't work that way. So if you want them bomb-proof, get them broke. Be consistent. Do the maneuvers over and over and over again the same way. Catch them the same way every day. Turn them loose the same way every day. Saddle them the same way every day. And that's where they start to get the confidence in you and in your program that things don't bother them. Shazam!